welcome to the second episode of my top 10 favorite songs of all time. This is really tricky. This is kind of dangerous ground that I'm covering here. It's really tough to kind of whittle these down. I mean, there's no question the songs that I discuss in these two episodes are my favorite songs of all time, but you know, there's still like a handful where it's like, what about that? What about this? What can you do? These are the 10 that I'm talking about. If we talk about a year from now, I might slide this song in and take this one out or whatever. But there's no question these still are like 10 of my favorite songs of all time, and some honorable mentions I'm throwing in there at the end. And again, these are in no kind of order. I'm not counting these down. So let us begin. 2004, we get Sahara Hot Nights and Hot Night Crash from their album Kiss and Tell. I remember seeing this band, I guess in the early 2000s on Much Music, and I thought they were okay, but didn't really stand out or anything like that. And then 2004, when this album came out, I was at work and we would do these like music video compilations for colleges, and the video for Hot Night Crash came on. I heard it, turned around, was like, what is that? And discovered it was this band, and I just really loved this song, Hot Night Crash, and I loved the video. The video was really good, but it was so catchy, and it just, this just kind of like up-tempo, kind of punk pop song, and just instantly loved it. Ran out the tower like the next day, bought the CD, and just became a huge fan of this band. That's Hot Night Crash. I just really, really love that song. Always have. It's just so damn catchy. Such a great, great pop punk song. 1969, we get the Jackson 5 and I Want You Back. And again, I don't have this physically. I have it digitally. I probably should have maybe a greatest hits Jackson 5 collection. I don't know why I don't. That's something I've thought about that in the past, and it's something I probably should pick up, but I don't own this physically. But regardless of that, one of my favorite songs of all time. If I was going to be ranking these, it would be near the top. Just such a great, great pop song, without question. I think it might be their very first single. This is your introduction to the world out of the gate. I mean, that's incredible to think of that, but just such an awesome song. I mean, that they're, if it's their first song or whatever, in my mind, this is like them at their peak, which might be weird to say if it's their first song, but it's such a great song. And I remember it obviously from my youth. I remember hearing it on the car radio all the time and in the cartoon that I probably watched a bit. And I just love that song. It's just so damn good, man. 1970, we get Curtis Mayfield and Move On Up. Great song. My introduction to this song, I guess, was they used it not really as the theme, but it's in the very first sketch in this sketch comedy movie called The Groove Tube that I loved when I was a kid in the 80s. And they use it, it's pretty interesting how they use it. But it's a great song, just such a classic, another perfect song. And I was reading that when it was released as a single, it didn't even chart, which is just, I can't even imagine that. That makes no sense to me how this song couldn't have charted. It's just mind-boggling because, I mean, it's like a classic now, and I know it's been sampled and everything, but luckily this lives on, stands above any of these songs that have used samples of it and stuff like that, in my opinion. But again, just a great, great song, and it's long. I mean, obviously this was probably edited down for a single version of, 3 minutes or something like that, but the song goes on. I don't know what the runtime is. It goes into this kind of extended groove kind of jam session at the end of the song. That's incredible. I love it, but can't get enough. 1985, we get Fishbone and Party at Ground Zero off of their debut EP. I discovered this song. I've mentioned this 100 times. You have to excuse me if you watch these all the time. You will have heard this already. But I first discovered them on the music video channel we had locally here called U68. They played the video. and it's a cool video, but the song, it was just like nothing I'd ever heard before. Just all these kind of like mix of genres and stuff, and just super energetic band. Seen them live, they're always awesome. But I just love this song, Party at Ground Zero. It's just so damn catchy, and like I said, it was just like nothing I'd ever really heard before that I can remember, and I just loved it that day that I saw it in 1985, and I still love it to this day. Just a great song. Also from 1985, we've got Prince and the Revolution and Raspberry Beret. This song, I remember that summer, I guess it was a summer or maybe spring, late spring or something. It was like the anticipation for Prince's next album was so high after Purple Rain. It was like, what do you do to follow up Purple Rain? And I wasn't a huge Prince fan back then. You know, I think now, not that I'm a huge Prince fan now, but I certainly have a few of his records. I certainly appreciate him a whole lot more than I did back then, I would say. But I do remember the anticipation for this record coming out. And I feel like I heard this song for the first time listening to the radio on my Walkman. And I think I was listening, back then they'd have like these shows on the weekend, sort of like new music previews and stuff like that, where they'd play songs that maybe haven't been released yet or were just released, stuff like that. And I remember hearing Raspberry Beret on that and just instantly loved it. It's such a good song. There's kind of different genres. It doesn't sound like anything off of Purple Rain for sure. And I just remember that summer hearing it constantly, having it, I must have taped it off the radio and had it on like a mixtape that I would listen to, while mowing the lawn or whatever, just all the time. And I just never got tired of it, It just, he was a unique dude, wrote some unique lyrics and songs, and just a real talent, and I just always loved this song and still do to this day. For my honorable mentions this week, as I try to say the word honorable, first up we've got from Belly, the song Red from their album King. I remember picking this album up in spring, maybe late spring of 1995. And that summer I just listened to it nonstop. But Red was the song like I just always was like going back to. And I don't know what it is. I just really like that song. It's a little unique. It feels like it doesn't necessarily follow the standard like song structure kind of, I'm not a musician, so I can't really explain that kind of stuff, but there's something a little different than it from like just your typical song, I think. But I really love it, and it kind of like kicks in at the end and just starts, they start playing and stuff. I just really love that song. I got to see them live not too long ago, and I was thrilled that they played it. But great song, Red by Belly. My last honorable mention here, we've got the mighty Yeah Yeah Yeahs and Why Control. And Why Control, why is Why Control on my list? I remember hearing Yeah Yeah's Maps when it kind of hit, and the video was on MTV and everything, and it was good. I liked it, and I remember kind of previewing the album, and nothing else really stood out to me, surprisingly, because Why Control's on that record. But then like maybe a year or two later, I sort of gave the album another chance, and Why Control just clicked with me. I just loved it. I loved the video. The video is great. I think Spike Jonze did it. It's like these little kid vampires and stuff. But great video. And I just always loved that song. It was, it's like an alternative kind of vibe to it. And I don't know, just always kind of something that I just always would listen to, and that album, when I got it, it was something I just constantly listened to, that song, like playing it over and over again, and that's, I think a lot of times these songs, how they become your favorite songs. It's like you can't wait to listen to it again after it's ended or whatever, you just kind of always go back to these songs, or they hold like a special memory, for you or something like that. But these are my top 10 favorite songs and a few honorable mentions. By all means, I'd love to hear your comments, your takes on these songs. Like I said last time, by all means, feel free to disagree with me. I would love to, sort of hear your take on that. Or, some songs that you really love. It'd be great to, see what you got to say. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.